here to talk NFL, college football. We kind of do this preview overview show every week on Fridays. It's our new thing. Well, we do a show every day around this time, 3:30. We were both on a call. We were on the same call. So then I ate breakfast. So that's why we're a little late today, but it doesn't matter. We are here now and here to talk college football. We like on this show, what we do is we don't need to go through the entire schedule, but we end up going through a lot of games. And, we kind of go over the line moves and, our next impression. On Mondays and Tuesdays, we do our first impression. Then on Wednesday, we do our office pool. Thursday is our Circa and Westgate picks, which I haven't put in yet because I was waiting to see if anybody got injured or arrested, with hookers or something. But I'll send those in today.
Hopefully no one got arrested.
Yeah, I should send those in. And then Friday, kind of our recap. We're eventually going to have guests and stuff on this show. I don't know. We're still trying to find our way, so we'll get it. But let's just, we'll just get started. We'll look at the college football. Of course, it comes up tomorrow. There's some great games tomorrow. We went over this morning's games already, so I think we're good there. But we went over tonight's games this morning. But we could look at tomorrow's games. Texas A&M, New Mexico. We've got Indiana, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Miami, Michigan State, Michigan, Northern Illinois. All these are the early games. Virginia Tech, West Virginia. Joe, anything out there in the early start that, or did I go too broad for you? You want me to nail them down? Either way.
It's very broad. Early start, I would be looking at New Mexico plus the points. I think they have a decent O that will be able to cover here. I'm not loving what I'm seeing with Texas A&M defending against that run. So I think New Mexico will keep it tight. It's a lot of points for them to be able to get that cover on it. When we look at Cincy and Indiana, this is a tough one for me. I'm looking at one of the best quarterbacks in the league, I think, since he has, and against a really good team against the pass. So this is when I'm going to stay off. If you twisted my arm and made me bet it, I'd be taking Cincinnati to take Indiana in this game and go 3-0 so far.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on that one?
I definitely like Cincinnati in this game. I don't love that hook on this one either. I think I would buy it down to 3. Yeah. I think it's one of those games where either you buy it down to 3 or you just say, you know what, Cincinnati's going to murder them, and you lay, up to a touchdown or more, and go for the big payout. So it's either, you chicken out, and you guys know me better than this. I'm probably going to lay 6.5, right? I mean, that's what I do. And, I'll probably look for a bigger payout here. I really think Cincinnati, this is an opportunity, and they know it. And while they're in somewhat of a look-ahead spot with Notre Dame on the card next week, these are big games for them. They need both of them. They need this one. They need Notre Dame. They win these 2 games and run the table the rest of the way. Oh, well, they're playing Alabama in January. So I think, it's about as big as it gets for Cincinnati as a program.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we got Coastal Carolina and Buffalo. This is one that I'm looking for points galore in this one. Both of these O's are stacked. And when we look at the defenses, yes, they've put up really good numbers. Coastal Carolina has held teams to 18 points on that defensive side, where Buffalo is 17.5. But both of them are having issues stopping that 3rd and long. So I think with these 2 solid offenses and a really good run game from Buffalo, I'm seeing a lot of points in this one.
Yeah, I could see a lot of points in this one too. Coastal just looks absolutely stacked once again. Buffalo coming off of that tough game at Nebraska really didn't have a lot of answers there in the second half, but we know that they have a lot of experience on this team. I expect them to bounce back in a big way. I could see this one, 58. I could definitely see an over in this spot. One of the other games I'm looking at is Nebraska versus Oklahoma, and this is a traditional rivalry game. And Nebraska, in recent years under Scott Frost and before, right, since Tom Osborne left, they haven't really been an overly effective team. But this kind of is their spot. And Scott Frost, if he wants to buy himself some time as the head coach of Nebraska, you go into Norman and beat the Sooners. This is your opportunity because, growing up in Miami, these were the teams that played in the Orange Bowl every single year. It was one or the other, the winner of the Big 8 conference. And sometimes they would even play each other in the Orange Bowl. And it's kind of, this is, why I love college football today. This and watching, Miami, this is in my blood. So I'm excited to see this game. I think the Huskers, as much as I've been down on them in recent years, I think they show up here.
Well, I'm really loving what I'm seeing out of their defense too. So, and their offense is putting up good numbers. Are you looking for a higher or lower scoring game in this one?
I think it's probably going to be lower scoring than people think.
Okay, I could get on that train. Especially if it's Nebraska coming out and winning this one.
Actually,
I think if Oklahoma wins, it's going to be higher.
I think it is going to be a higher scoring game. You're right. I think it is. I could see it going either way. That's the whole thing. But with Oklahoma, they do have that sieve of a defense, and we did see Tulane put up 35 on them. So, if Tulane could put 35 on you, you got to figure Nebraska might be able to as well.
Probably. What about Michigan and Illinois? This is one where Michigan has such a fantastic run game.
They do, and they love beating up on the little guys. It's like when they get into conference and get pushed around by the bigger guys, that's where they generally struggle. But up against the little guys, this is where Jim Harbaugh usually likes to be a jerk about it, as they say. So probably not a game I'm betting. I'm rooting for Northern Illinois, that's for sure. But I'm not sure if they can pull off the upset. But I would take the points just on spite alone.
Now, my only concern with Northern Illinois is their quarterback, Lombardi, I believe is his name. He does have interception concerns from what I've seen so far this season. So that is my only issue against a strong Michigan team here, who is 6-1 against the spread as a home favorite.
Oh, yeah. As a home favorite and against teams like this, I mean, they have an extraordinary record under Jim Harbaugh and even without Jim Harbaugh, any other way you slice it. But at the same time, it's like, we've seen them look very impressive so far. So a lot of times when these very public teams like Michigan, Notre Dame, Alabama, Ohio State, when they have these impressive runs, the public is just right on board with them. And, we've seen Michigan more often than not fall flat on their face under Harbaugh. So I'm not buying in this easily into Michigan.
Okay.
Just not ready to do it. But we got Miami against Michigan State. Of course, these are my Canes up against Michigan State, who's looked really good this season. And Miami, well, they haven't looked overly impressive. The win over Alabama was a nice win. The App State, I mean, they squeaked it out at the end against, a good an App State game. And this is what I was trying to tell Brian on the show last week. And when he was talking, what if App State beats Miami? Well, then they'll be 0-2, right? I mean, that was my answer. And the thing is that you play against App State, it's a no-win situation. If you beat App State, everyone thinks, you beat App State, a Sun Belt team. And if you lose to them, well, now you've lost to App State, a Sun Belt team, and they're a very good team. And, they've given other teams fits throughout the years. They beat, some really good teams. But here we have Michigan State coming in. They looked so dominant in that opening week against Northwestern.
Yeah.
And, of course, Miami has a really good record against these Big Ten teams. Should be about 180 degrees at this game. It's a noon start in Miami. This is the worst-case scenario for a visiting team, is to be in this. Right now they're looking at Hard Rock Stadium. It's about 90 degrees with 73% humidity. Right now. So I'm going to guess that tomorrow is going to be very hot and muggy and, hot and sticky. That is, the Canes' way here. And I think what we'll see is Michigan State probably wilt in that second half.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that too. My only concern with Miami is how good Michigan State is on the run and how much Miami has struggled against that run. I don't know. I'm going to stay off. This is going to be a stay off for me.
Well,
so
I'll be laying 10 in this thing, or 9.5, lay another 3.5, just because I have to. I can't. There's no other way. I don't have a choice.
What about Michigan State for that first half before they fall off?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I don't think so. I can't do it.
I'm just loving their run game. 300 yards per game they're averaging. I'm
a homer. I just can't do it.
Well, I should have been with my Chargers.
I'm a total homer,
that
though.
First week, I went against them.
Everyone knows with my Canes, they got my.
Oh, I love it. That is perfect. Now, what do you think about the total in this game? I would be looking at a higher scoring game. Your only thing that concerns me is saying that Michigan's going to fall apart in that second half, because if Michigan really slows in the second half, I can really see this hitting under that total. This might be a game that I'm looking at the first half total over.
I think I'm with you on that first half total over, and the Miami defense is traditionally one of their stronger units, and Manny Diaz is a defensive coach. I think this is. I still think that this game probably goes over. I think we're going to see some scoring in this one. I think Michigan State's going to put points on the board. The Miami defense doesn't look as strong as it has in the past. App State was able to run the ball on them. I'm going to guess that these guys are going to be able to as well. It's always tough when you play Alabama because there's nothing you can really say about that.
Those games don't even count. When I start looking at teams against Bama, it's like, well, that doesn't count. It's Bama, right? Who cares what happened against Bama? I'm looking at what they do after Bama. And they had that great win, right?
They did, but it was still App State. They didn't cover.
I know. They didn't cover, but they still won it.
We'll move on to the next set of games, and got I think that West Virginia Tech is going to be a hell of a game too. But we got Colorado and Minnesota. Colorado lost against Texas A&M last week in a great game. Minnesota, of course, had that loss to Ohio State, and then last week did not cover against the MAC team. So I think they might be in trouble here in Boulder against the Buffs. And Notre Dame, Purdue. Wake Forest against Florida State, who's now 0-2 on the season after losing to Jacksonville State last week at home.
Yeah.
Tough loss. And let's see what else we got. Kansas, Baylor. We got Clemson, Georgia Tech. Alabama, Florida. Ohio State, Tulsa. Iowa, Kent State.
I'm going with Ohio State in this group. I've got to get behind Ohio State, especially after that loss with the Ducks. They're really going to take this one out on Tulsa. The spread is big, but it's justified. They're going to come out, and their defense, though, they better have worked out what the heck's going on, because if they haven't worked out what's going on, we're going to see another disappointment and them not covering. But I think they've got it together. There's no way that they're going to come off that loss to the Ducks and not be able to pull off this win and take out all their anger on this poor Tulsa team that really isn't stopping those third down conversions.
I have to agree with you that I just don't think what we see from Tulsa in these games is that on the road, not as good. At home, they generally will hold up pretty well. And I just think, like you said, I think Ohio State's, probably a rough week of practice. A lot of guys not just really playing for the national championship this year, the Big Ten title. They're thinking, we're going to need to blow teams out to even get back into the discussion. They're outside of the top 10 now, on the outside looking in. And, most of these guys at Ohio State, like I said, they're not really thinking so much on that. They're more thinking of their NFL career. And now it's like they're going to be off the radar, after that loss to Oregon. And, they probably didn't show themselves so well in that game. They're going to need to take every opportunity. And, Tulsa, I think we saw them last week against Oklahoma State. They held their own. But at the same time, this is a miserable spot. I mean, just miserable playing Ohio State coming off. I wonder what Ohio State's record is off of a home outright loss as a,
Well, when was the last time they lost outright? Like before the Ducks, I don't even know when that was. Losing in regular season.
It was the national championship game against Alabama. That was it.
Yes.
That was the last time.
That was a hard one, but I'm talking regular season. Right? But yeah, what their defense really had major issues against the Ducks. The Ducks got 7.1 yards per carry against them, and that's unheard of for Ohio State as well. I'm looking for them to bounce back really hard. Otherwise, heads are rolling.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I like Ohio State in that spot as well. Another one of these games on the board, I think that Florida State Wake Forest, I don't know. I think Florida State has some big problems defensively. And I think Notre Dame as well has some big problems defensively with Purdue coming in. Jeff Brom doesn't really have that signature win at Purdue. And, he was offered other jobs, even as the Purdue head coach after he came over from Louisville. And, he turned them all down, and because he felt he was building something at Purdue. But like I said, he's never really had that big win, that really big one that kind of put him to the next level. And here's his chance. Notre Dame's defense, absolutely suspect in the second half against Florida State. We saw Mackenzie Milton drive the team right down the middle of the field a couple of times on the Irish. And then we also saw, we also saw them against, last week, struggle against Toledo. So, this is Purdue's chance. This if the Irish were ever going to, get knocked out by Purdue, this is their chance.
Well, I hope they do. It would be a great game if they can pull that one off. What do you think of the Kent State-Iowa game? Now, this is an Iowa team that beat Iowa State in the upset as the underdog. This was one of those lines that we couldn't believe they were the underdog in that one.
Yeah, it's one of these games where now the word is out on Iowa. We saw them slaughter Indiana. We saw them, handle Iowa State, and it really no doubter. They were in control of that game from start to finish. I don't know what the final margin was, but they were never in doubt that they were going to win that game. And what we saw, though, is that now the public is on board with Iowa. Oh, they beat Iowa State on the road. They did this. They slaughtered Indiana. This team is going places. It's normally the setup, right? And especially now it's kind of a sandwich game for them. So you always have to worry about that out of conference game, at home in that weird spot like that. It is, Kent State's not a horrible team either. And Iowa with, actually not a big game next week, Colorado State. So, really not a look ahead spot, but at the same time, I could see, maybe a look down spot.
Absolutely. I like what they did turnover-wise against Iowa State. I was really impressed with those 4 turnovers. I think they're just great at stopping the run. The couple of stats I'm looking at that make me want to bet Iowa in this situation, they're 4-0 in their last 4 games. They're also, when we look at Kent State, 1-5 against the spread against teams with winning records. So for me, it's pointing to Iowa at this moment, but I'm not going to have a bet until tomorrow on this one.
I'm taking Kent
State.
If I
take it.
I'm taking the points. So one of the weird things that happened to me on this is, I do all those videos for college football, and I kind of do them over the, yesterday and today. I kind of, there's a lot of them, so I can't, just sit down and do them all. It's like I know people think that they just happen automatically. Like I don't actually do them, that like it's, somehow magically happens. But I did, though. These videos, the games that we're going over right now, I did all these videos, and for some reason, I think the battery went out because I used the battery pack on my mic. On that. The battery went out. I had to reshoot them all. So I don't even know if I have the same pick in them, but I know that these are the ways I was going. And a lot of the same thought process, where I just think that Iowa's clearly the better team. They're going to win this game, but it just seems like a letdown spot after beating their rival. It's a lot of points.
Yeah, I could see it. What about, we've got Eastern Michigan and UMass. Now, UMass, one of the worst programs in all of college football. I don't see them covering in this one, but, Eastern Michigan's not that great, but I'm looking for improvements on what we've seen so far with them.
Yeah, I think that Eastern Michigan, we saw them against Wisconsin last week. They kind of held the second half. I thought they played really well. And, thankfully, they played just not well enough at the end, right? Wisconsin got that last touchdown, needed it. But, I think here against UMass, I think we're going to see that, a lot less than what they've been facing. And I think they're going to be really, really tough here. I like Eastern Michigan here.
Okay, we both agree on that. So that one's I'm going to double highlight. I love when we both agree on something, Mitch.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, I think when Joe was first on the shows with me, we agreed on a lot of stuff. Now it's like, now we kind of highlight the ones that we don't agree on as much, which is fine, which is why we're here. And, it's like she's going to win some, I'm going to win some. It's just the way that it goes. Those of you that are just tuning in, we do this every Friday. We kind of just go over the games, look at some of the line moves. We've already gone over these games over the course of the week, and we'll continue to go over them tomorrow morning. Big college football show tomorrow. I love the new format of our Saturday and Sunday shows, and I think everybody else likes it because I think it keeps me a little bit more on topic, which I think is helpful. But I still get to talk about whatever the hell I want to. But Joe reels me in, and then we have some guests.
I try my best. Another one I was looking at is this Baylor and Kansas game. Now we've got two junior quarterbacks on both sides. Baylor, I think, really has a solid O-line and a great run game. Their defense is only allowing 13.5 points per game. But against a Kansas team that, their defense has concerns, but their quarterback, I really like better. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but I really like Kansas's quarterback.
We saw him
he leads the team in rushing yards.
Yeah. He's he reminds me a lot of the Oklahoma State quarterback Sanders.
Yeah,
the guy on Kansas. His name is. We'll find it.
Yeah, I'm totally drawing a blank. There's so many names in college football to remember.
Yeah, this guy is really good. We saw.
Yeah.
His name is. Someone's gonna say it. Bean. Yeah.
Bean. That's it.
12 of 20.
Thank you so much, Garrett.
See, he was 12 of 23 against Coastal for 189 yards, no interceptions, but he also ran for 102 yards on 13 carries. And I'll tell you, I think he had a couple that were called back that were even longer than that. But he was impressive, and it's like in college football, you don't always remember the names, but you remember, that guy. Kind of like the guy who's the East Carolina quarterback. It's like, oh no, not that guy.
Right?
Oh, this guy. Oh no.
Yeah, I forgot it was him as soon as you see them. But yeah, this Bean kid, he's got wheels too.
Yeah,
so
does.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of him. So yeah. I think I'm giving it to Bean in this one.
The issue I have with Kansas in this one is that Baylor just really eats their lunch traditionally, slaughters them. Yeah. These games have not been close. Last year, 47-14 Baylor. The year before that, 61-6 Baylor. 26-7 Baylor was the close one. And then it was 38-9 in 2017. 49-7, 66-7, 60-14, 59-14, 41-14. And the last time it was close, 31-30 in 2011. So they play every year.
Okay, I'm going out on a line. I'm going to do Kansas.
All right, Joe. You're flying
solo. You just sold me. Sold me that it's probably the worst bet. Looking at the stats.
I'm gonna take a straight Ruffalo on this one and pass because I could see the angle because I do like that quarterback, and Baylor hasn't really been blowing teams out recently.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one. If anyone has any games they want us to go, if anyone has a game they want us to go over, just shoot it out in the comments, and we'll be more than happy to go over it. Maybe we should do. I used to do a thing on our morning show when I would do it by myself back in the day. I would do Fridays were always called free-for-all Fridays, and all of the questions and games I would go over would come from the audience. So we could do free-for-all Friday here in addition to the games that we're going over. Kansas State, Nevada is one of them that they're asking for, and UC Indiana we did. We did UC Indiana already.
Which time is that Nevada game?
I think
we already
might be a later. No, I think it's like 2:00 in the afternoon. Correctly. Yeah, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Nevada's 2-0 coming in. Kansas State 2-0. Chris Kleiman is like one of my favorite coaches. This guy covers like no one's business. And, at Kansas State is always way underrated, and that's why they're always a really good cover team. Nevada's 0-4 against the number. Following a win by more than 20, but 5-0 against the number in their last 5 non-conference. Kansas State just 1-4 against the number against a team with a winning record. But we look at Nevada's winning record. They beat Idaho State, 49-10. Congratulations. And, Kansas State, Southern Illinois, 31-23. They always look bad in those kind of games. And then against like the Oklahomas and Texases of the world, they're blowing them out of the building. I don't know. I think that this game is probably fairly close, and we look at the number, and it sets up to be Kansas State getting 1.5 here. Maybe take a look at the line movement.
Yeah, I would. My gut is to lean Kansas State plus the 1.5.
So 53%.
Because I think these teams are so evenly matched.
Even the money looks even though it's slightly inverted. It looks fairly even. 53% of the bets on Kansas State, 48% of the money. So that's not too bad. And that's with the spread. And Nevada, 47% of the bets, 52%. So on the money line, though, 28% of the bets on the money line on Nevada and 76% of the money on the money line on Nevada.
I'm going against it. Fade the public. Do it. Kansas State all the way, plus 1.5. That is one, since you just told me all of that information, I'm fading.
Well, throw this on top. Throw this on top. You might want to even put a little bit more on it, because the line has dropped even with the money on Nevada. The line has dropped from 2.5 to 1.5, and I'm seeing the 1.5 starting to go away too. So
I'm money lining it. What's the money line on that?
It's probably like
plus 135.
No, it can't be that high at 1.5. It's got to be like 110 or something.
Give me plus 135 on it.
Joe, I think you might have to lay points for that, but that's, might as well, And if you think they're going to win, then, might as well lay a couple points there. Yeah.
Well, especially at plus 1.5. I like taking the money line when it's that tight.
So we have another request. It's the rules for the free for all are 1 game per person. So make it the one that you want, and the Team A versus Team B with the point spread. So we know exactly what you're looking at here. So these are always fun, the free for all. New Mexico plus 29.5 against Texas Tech.
New Mexico, Texas Tech.
I don't think New Mexico is playing Texas Tech. New Mexico is playing Texas A&M. We already went over that game. And Memphis or Memphis or Moneyline Memphis. So this is Memphis against Mississippi State. I love the over in this game. Memphis has the number 1 offense. Mississippi State, it's Mike Leach. They're going to be throwing the ball around. The defense was terrible last year. What we saw from Mississippi State last year is they looked great early, and then teams put a zone D on them. And once the zone went in, they really struggled against the zone defense. And I think Leach knew that. So we'll have to see what they did in the offseason. But I like the over in that game. I think we're going to see plenty of scoring.
Yeah, I will definitely see plenty of scoring in that one.
Here's another interesting one that Sarah's asking about. I like this format. This is fun. Arizona State versus BYU. BYU is a home dog in this one. 2nd week in a row as a home dog. 3rd game in a row against a Pac-12 team for BYU.
What time is this one at?
That one's like 11 o'clock at night, 10:45 or something p.m. See, I did all the videos, so I was like, I know where they are. Maybe
this is Arizona State's first road game,
10:30. It's 10:15 p.m.
Okay.
Maybe.
And is this Arizona's first road game?
I thought it was. Arizona State. I think it is. I'll take a look. They are ranked, though. Maybe I'll have Joe start to do some videos with me. That would be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking at BYU in this as the home dog. They're 5-1 against the spread in the last 6. So as a dog. So I'm liking them as a dog. I would put it there. They're both these teams are 2-0, especially if this is Arizona State's first road game.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, there's a lot here.
I take BYU plus the points.
There's a lot here, at BYU going to play there. There's the altitude, going to BYU. It's going to be a little chilly, and it's a super tough building to begin with. And I know they lost Zach Wilson, the first, draft choice, whatever. Yeah, but they've knocked off 2 Pac-12 teams in the last 2 games, and I think Utah is a way better team than what they face here. I don't know. Maybe people looking at it at a letdown spot. I'm not really sure, but I'm with you, Joe. I'll take BYU in this one.
Yeah, I absolutely want them for sure.
Here's a game that Here's a game that the sound went out on the video. I had to do it again, and I didn't even want to do it the first time. USC versus Washington State. USC fired their head coach after getting slaughtered by Stanford, and Washington State, Nick Rolovich, this guy never covers. I mean, I hate to say never, but this guy never covers. It's like 7.5 point dog. I don't know. It's like sometimes when they have those interim coaches, they like wake up.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the intern coach. I like that. I like the players to come out stronger in this one. What was the line on it? I don't know the time, so I've got all my things all over.
The time on this one, on the I think it's 3:30 Eastern. Would it help if I give the numbers? This one is 141 and 142.
No, just the time, because then I can bring it up in front of me.
It's 3:30 Eastern. Washington State lost their opener to Utah State right out of the gate as a big favorite. And, if you're going to ask a question, Team A versus Team B with the point spread. If you just say one team with the points, that really does not help us. And one per person.
Yeah, there's just so many cards or games on the card.
Yep, one per person. Well, I'll just take this one. It's fine. I like USC in this one. I like the whole interim coach thing. USC is loaded with talent. Slovis is a great quarterback. They had a bad game against Stanford. They paid the price for it. They know that. I'm going to take USC here. We'll go to, let me see, Duke versus Northwestern. That's what we call 120 people smarter than I am. Any thought on that one, Joe? What time is that one? That's like a 3:30 game. Oh, that's 4 o'clock Eastern time.
4 o'clock. What? What's the spread on it?
Duke plus 2.5 at home.
Yeah, give me them at home. Definitely. I love them getting points at home. I think that's a hard.
Go ahead. I'm going to take a look at the line action on this thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think this is a good spot for Duke as a home dog. It wasn't even on my radar, actually, this Duke game. Yeah,
look at the money action on this game. 31% of the bets and 59% of the money, nearly a 2-to-1 ratio, all on the Duke side. Northwestern looked hideous in their opener against Michigan State. They looked absolutely dreadful. But, Duke, they didn't look so hot either. But getting points at home dog. The line actually up to 2.5. I'm seeing a 3 out there. But I think I'm with you there on that one. Go to the next one.
Yeah, it's the home dog or nothing for me in that one.
We did Cincinnati, Indiana. East Carolina plus 10.5 versus Marshall. This game's not on my radar. I'm gonna Ruffalo this thing. I'm gonna take a straight pass.
Yeah.
I'll look at it for tomorrow. I mean, someone might have it for tomorrow, but.
Yeah, I can give you guys an opinion on it tomorrow, but this is one I've got to dig further into the numbers before especially the spread on it.
Same with this. Colorado State plus 14.5 versus Toledo. I like Toledo this year. I don't know if I like them 14.5 though over Colorado State. I know Colorado State has not looked good. I'll take Toledo there for the blowout. It just seems like such a high line.
Toledo.
Yeah, it opened at 14. It's gone 14.5. It's just, I think it's in that same time slot, that 3:30.
3:30?
I believe so. Let me see. No, it's 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock game.
Yep. 20% of the bets and 42% of the money on Colorado State here with the spread, but the line going the other way.
Yeah, this one's a pass for me. I don't love it.
Nothing wrong with it. There's a million games on the board. I don't think
there's so many games.
Yeah, there's so many games. So we have Virginia Tech and West Virginia. West Virginia -2 in this one against Virginia Tech. Jermaine asking this one. He's a long-time watcher of our shows, and we appreciate the long-time support.
No, I think
I like Virginia Tech.
I thought Virginia was playing North Carolina.
No, that's Virginia. This is Virginia Tech and West Virginia.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
They all
start you just said Virginia. I was like, I'm like, I made my notes wrong then for all these games coming up. So this game is at what time, Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech is noon. 12 noon Eastern.
Noon. You guys are confusing me, jumping all over. Got notes everywhere on my Excel sheets.
That's how I am at this point of the week.
Right? At least it's on Excel, not scribbled in my book. Yeah, you know what? Give me West Virginia at home in this matchup. I think they're going have a strong day.
Got
You're on Virginia Tech, though.
105 people watching the game, so watching the show today. So we appreciate that. We were off schedule a little bit. We were both on a call together, and then I ate breakfast, admittedly, and set us a little bit late. But usually Joe and I are on every day at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time doing something. 5 days a week, and then on the weekends it's our morning show that we do, and then of course NFL halftimes all day and night. But Mondays is our college football opening line first look show. Tuesday, NFL opening line first look show. So we don't just read the lines; we kind of just give the look at it. Wednesday is our famous office pool show. If you haven't entered the office pool, by all means, find that video. There's a link in the description of this video. Cash prizes, free to enter. It's fun. Follow us on Twitter. I don't have our Twitters up on here, but earn even more money by doing that. I'll put our Twitters up here next time. Do I have it in the thing? I could always just do it. Joe is Joe Madden Sports. I'm betting badass.
I love it. You know, one game I'm really looking at, and I really like Liberty in this situation against Old Dominion. I think this is going to be a good, solid under game as well. I'm liking both Liberty and the under. I think Liberty's defense is so strong, and they're going to really shut down Old Dominion. And I think this line's inflated too. I think Old Dominion off that big blowout, everyone's going to be on them to cover in this situation.
Yeah, I like Liberty. I just think they're just tough as nails. It is a big number, but you freeze teams. Oh man, it could be 27. It could be 28-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah,
the way you freeze. I mean, this guy can flat out recruit. I mean, he really can work the living room, get some top notch.
Oh, for sure.
Turn Liberty around in a hurry.
Yeah. And Liberty's 5-0 in their last 5 games against the spread at home. They really come out and put on a show for their home crowd.
So let's see what else we got. We did Colorado, Minnesota. We did Miami, Michigan State. Charlotte versus Georgia State. I'll take a look at this one. What the hell? Here, what time is that one at? Probably covered it.
I think they cover. I'd take Georgia State.
Charlotte had
-5. I like it.
Charlotte had a lot of cancellations last year, and then this year they did not look as good, right, as we thought they were going to look. Didn't they lose to Duke?
Yeah, I'm not high on Charlotte at all.
I think I'll let you take that one.
Then Arthur is asking about Ball State and Wyoming. I don't have the spread in front of me, but I know Wyoming covers 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 home games. I really think they are the better team. They're coming off that big win, and I think they carry the momentum over. The only issue for me is their defense has struggled. 29.5 points per game they have allowed. But then Ball State, their defense has struggled too, 32.5. I don't think they're going to be able to stop Wyoming's run.
So actually, Charlotte beat Duke in that game, so we did win that one. That was in that opening. That opening Thursday in week 0. Or no,
that's right.
It was opening Thursday of week 1. They beat them. Yeah. So we did win that one on Charlotte, and then Georgia State 0-2, 43-10 losers to Army, and 59-17 at UNC. And then here you have a line, right, with 2-0 Charlotte. Opening 2.5 and now at 5. To me, that says COVID issues, generally, and injuries. So I'm going to take Georgia State with you on that one. I'm a little behind here.
That's okay. I moved on because I just was like Georgia State. That's all I want. So what do you think on Ball State and Wyoming? Do you think Ball State can pull it off, or do you think Wyoming gets it at home?
I need to take a look at it. Ball State really let me down last week against Penn State, that's for sure. Wyoming is they're always one of those programs that flies under the radar. A lot of their games get shown on the internet, but they are 2-0 to start the season. Oh, it's a tough place to play. Ball State back-to-back road games. I'm going to go for I'm going to take Wyoming here, lay the points.
Yeah, I like it too. And I'd be looking at the over in this one, especially looking at Ball State's defense has struggled. They haven't been able to really stop that run. And then Wyoming, their third down stoppages have been not good. So I'd be definitely looking at the over.
Look at these KPIs.
Yeah, this guy's got to go. What we're going to confirm is we just don't care what you have to say. But anyways, not you. In the chat.
You don't care what I have to say, okay? Thanks, Mitch.
No. In the chat, we have a guy talking about stuff that really has nothing to do with anything. I don't even understand, the conversation, to be honest with you. There's certain things and it's just maybe the way I was brought up or like where I come from and, like a melting pot of people. And, it's like we just never really had these kind of discussions, we just never really, it's like a different thing. And I don't understand. To me, it's just, it upsets me because I don't understand it, and it's kind of like, it just confuses me. And it's like, it doesn't have anything to do with sports to begin with, but the fact that anyone would even care on this stuff, I grew up in the melting pot of melting pots in Miami, and it was just, not one of us was the same, not one of us.
Absolutely.
So
let's talk about one quick game that I really want to know your opinion on. Auburn and Penn State. Any chance Auburn comes in there, one of the loudest stadiums in the whole country, and beats Penn State? Any chance?
Yeah, I think they have a solid chance here to win there. And I think that, number one, they have a coach, first-year coach who can do it. James Franklin, not great cover coach. And Penn State has lost these whiteout games plenty. It's not like they have these whiteout games and they win it all the time. I remember the first whiteout game, they were stomped. It was back in the day where they changed the channel because it was Miami that played them, and they switched to a more competitive game.
Wow.
Imagine the remote going through the TV set that night when I was watching. But they have, Auburn to me has some of the best linebackers in the country. And I just think they have an NFL style linebacker core at Auburn this year. Every few years, Auburn has a unit on their team that is just NFL quality. 2 years ago, it was the defensive line with Brown. This year, it's this linebacking core. I think that points are going to really come at a premium in this game. This is going to be an under game all the way. And, just like last night, right? But this one I think this one I really think is an under game all the way. And I think that, because of that, you have to at least take the points. If not, and like Joe said, I think if there's value there, you take the money line as well. Because
go ahead.
No, go. Because I was
going to say we're going to talk over each other all the time. I'm sorry, Mitch. Any concerns with Bo Nix and the accuracy issues that we saw for him in the last game?
Obviously, it's going. Well, it's not just last game. It's his whole career has been accuracy issues. I mean, he got Gus Malzahn fired.
I know. In the last game, I was getting at him though.
Yeah, he got Gus Malzahn fired, but at Penn State we haven't seen anything spectacular there either. And it's not like they've played against, they played Wisconsin and they played them tough on the road, but I think that what they're going to face here in Auburn with those linebackers is a lot tougher than anything that they have faced so far. Obviously it's an SEC team. We don't see Auburn go to Happy Valley to play these games, and the line is down, 1.5, or it opened at 6.5. It's down to -5. It could drop even lower by game time. We'll take a look at the way the money is moving on this thing just for the heck of it, even though I'm not a huge believer. But we're showing with 56% of the money being bet on Penn State, the line has dropped a full 1.5. And you look at the money line here, 71% of the bets and 74% of the money on the money line for Auburn.
Wow.
For the dog.
I'm going Penn State. Give me Penn State. I like Sean Clifford too, 72% accuracy for him. I also like what the defense is doing with Penn State, which really does lead me to believe you're right on that under game. 11.5 points per game. That's all they've been giving their opponents. That's incredible.
Let's see what else. If we
Mitch is reading comments.
I'm just reading the comments to see if we have any other games. Yeah, I'm with you.
We got LSU and Michigan, Central Michigan.
Yeah, it's Central Michigan.
Does anyone care about LSU and Central Michigan?
I did a video on it. I care. I think
you care.
I like the way that. Well, I might have an interest. LSU.
You always do.
I seem to always do, right? It's like
Don't know why.
I got a friend that really cares about this. It's like, well, I think what we've seen from LSU is that they have a lot of top tier talent, and I think they win this game, right? But I think they win it by like 4 or 6 points or something in that nature, not like the 20 that they have to lay here. They just haven't looked overly impressive. They have the athletes, they have all of these things, but I think what we found from LSU the last 2 years from them is that they're fully capable of beating themselves.
Yeah, they are. And against a Central Michigan team that didn't allow any points in their last game, that defense really stepped up. And if they can do that again, they're 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 road games. So I'm liking Central Michigan plus those points. I think it's too much, like you said.
But you would think, in Death Valley at night at LSU, that's going to be this impossible spot. But LSU couldn't cover last week against McNeese.
Ooh, good point.
McNeese State. Go Cowboys. A lot of other good games on the card. And, of course, tomorrow we'll have a panel of experts to go through these games of our Pick Dogs handicappers. And I believe we have – I don't know who we have. But I think we know we have Brian. We know we have Rod. Yeah. Ron Romanelli will be with us. I know we have Joe D'Amico be our opener, as always. He's kind of our opening act. And then we have Tony Brown, I'm pretty sure, is with us tomorrow as well. So I don't know if Ruffalo's coming or not, or who else is coming, but I know we have at least those. So, Joe, anything here? Anything here you want to wrap up, or you want to?
What do you think, Utah State and Air Force? I like this one. I think this is going to be a good game. These two are rivals. I'm looking for Air Force to come out and get the win at home. I think we're going to see a heavy run game in this one. Both strong defenses and an under game as well.
I like Stanford to smash Vandy. That's, okay. For me, that's. I think it's so obvious. But it's still going to happen. JML Johnson said...
He's getting ignored. What did we ignore?
Yeah, Virginia Tech, West Virginia.
Virginia Tech, West Virginia. What time is it at?
Noon, Eastern.
Noon?
I like Virginia Tech in there.
Do you? Why do you like Virginia Tech?
I think they've been playing some really solid football. I think Justin Fuente, this is not the type of game that... If he has a team like the team that he has, and West Virginia is certainly not a world beater. It's one question per person.
What is the line on it?
It's pretty.
I don't have the line in front of me.
It is the current line is 2.5. West Virginia minus 2.5. It's at Morgantown. We're seeing 45% of the bets and 57% of the money on West Virginia. And then on the money line, which Joe really looks at, 52% of the bets, 92% of the money on West Virginia.
I'm off West Virginia then. Virginia Tech all the way with you.
8%. 8%. I'm on the book. The book's willing to sit there with 8% of the money. I'm going to guess it's a lot of big money there.
Absolutely. Yeah, Virginia Tech all the way for me.
All right. Any other games?
There's so many to talk about.
There's so many, but we have a full show tomorrow to talk to.
We do. So join us at 10 a.m. Eastern, you guys, for the college show tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. Going to be jam-packed with information. Of course, we'll be back in about 40 minutes for our VIP show with Rod and Brian. So be sure to join us there. And, of course, check out every day right here on YouTube. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time weekdays, 10 a.m. weekends. Of course, the drive-thru is at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Had a pretty good crowd despite inconsistent start time, but It's only our second one here, so I believe we'll get into the flow here. And maybe we'll change this into an interview style too show with get some guests going on Friday afternoons.
Yeah, that would be great.
It'll be fun. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Make it a win.